This is Fiona, Max.
Hi, and welcome. And first of all, I would like to say a big thank you to the Glasgow Festival for inviting our film to show here. We're very thrilled about that. I just wanted to speak to you about what you're about to see. It's a film that was 7 years in the restoration story of really campaigning and trying to pull the partners together to be able to bring it back to the big screen.
We don't have a huge amount of time, but we shall ask some questions first and have a little chat, and then try to take as many of your questions as possible. I think we should start with you, Angela.
Right.
We know that at that point you'd been on The Third Man and Pandora, but you were very young. How did the whole thing come about for you? And was it a phone call from someone? Or?
Well, no, I was the youngest in the business at that time, and Guy Hamilton, who I'd worked with on The Third Man, I think recommended me to come along for an interview to meet Sam Spiegel. Because I'd done Pandora, it was the same company. And I was vetted by Mr. Spiegel and offered the job. And Houston was actually out in Africa, so when I did arrive, I mean, he got his crew sight unseen, because he had, apart from Jack Cardiff and the art director, and Guy Hamilton, who was the first assistant, the rest of us were, given to him, you might say.
Okay. And how unusual was it in those days for actually a film like that to go on location and get that authenticity?
Oh, it was quite unusual in certain respects, but John Huston, loved travelling, and he insisted on doing it in Africa. And as it was out of the Calder studios, I mean, they were sort of used to it. But John definitely would not have done it if he couldn't have gone to Africa, because he wanted the trip anyway.
All right, okay.
He wanted to find
an ulterior
elephant.
motives, did
Yes,
he?
he wanted to find an
To go
elephant.
hunting.
Well, that's what everyone says, that the actual making of the film was such an adventure and a huge experience in itself that, as you said, it's led to a novel, it's led to the film, it's led to so many kind of legends growing up about it. I mean, was it a unique experience from that point of view, in that there seems to be so many tales to be told of the actual filming itself?
Well, I think it was, because certainly we had two Hollywood stars, and they were both, very big, and here they were coming to Africa, and it was very primitive, believe you me. I mean, we only had 2 days at the beginning when we all landed from London or wherever we were coming from in Stanleyville, and then we were driven. Well, first you got on a train that used to get set on fire every 20 minutes. I mean, it was a wooden train, and then it used to go on fire, and we'd stop and they'd put it out, and off we go. And you were bitten, absolutely. I mean, it was, you were bitten from top to bottom. And then you got off that and onto a ferry, and then we all had to be driven in a sort of truck things to the camp, which had been literally hacked out of the jungle at Biondo, which was beyond.
Hi, I was just wondering, did Bogey have the same presence in person that we see conveyed to us on the screen as a star?
Not exactly, no.
People are assuming that's a no. Yes.
No, Bogey was actually, he was extremely well-mannered. He was polite, he was courteous, he was not somebody who, swore and no, he was, and he mixed, and he talked to the boys and mixed with the crew. He was a nice person, but he certainly wasn't a tough guy, no, not at all.
Maybe one thing people would like to know is the leeches. Were they all real? Was Bogey happy to do all that, or?
No, the leeches.
That's an annoying laugh.
That's
an annoying laugh.
The leeches, no, because the leeches scene, is when he comes up from the thing, and no, that was done in the studio, because that sequence with the water and going over. So he had, whatever they were, they weren't plastic then, they were made by the prop department. And then the real leech shot was done on somebody's body well after Bogey had gone back to the States, and it was my finger that, had to knock it off. But and there's somebody who's written a book and has talked about a leech trainer. They don't exist. They're a leech.
Good job, man.
Yeah, exactly, it would be. Yeah, leech breeders. Yes, I mean, somebody bred the leeches, and it was actually quite funny, because they came down with this leech to do the insert, and the leech wouldn't stick to the body because then the leech breeder decided he hadn't been starved enough, so, you know, because they only stick like others if they're hungry. So we had to wait another couple of weeks till Mr. Leach decided he was hungry, I guess, and brought back. So that was it. No, he did not have real leeches on him.
So obliging stars, but temperamental leeches.
Temperamental leeches,
kind of thing.
Absolutely.
Okay, please join me in thanking Fiona Maxwell and Allen.
Thank you.